I could not help myself at all. I played Life is Strange 1 and got the platinum on it. I loved it so much that I went and got the platinum on the remastered as well. And Life is Strange Before the Storm is the next installment of the game. It is the prequel to the first one, and Chloe Price is the main character in this game instead of Max. But before we go into any of that, my name is Rezi, and I've got a newfound addiction to obtaining platinum trophies on video games. If you love gaming as much as I do and love getting absolutely everything out of them, be sure to hit that like button and smash the subscribe button to see what comes next. Let's waste no time at all and let's get into this. We're here on Life is Strange Before the Storm. The first game had me on an emotional roller coaster. You can see me with a smile on my face now, and I have a feeling it's gonna get wiped off. The game immediately kicks off with Chloe standing in the middle of train tracks, and of course she nearly gets hit by a train. This girl can't avoid death for much longer. But taking control of Chloe now, it seems she has found herself at a rave, definitely the perfect place for a 16-year-old to hang out. First thing we do is go get the quote-unquote collectibles of the game. Graffiti? Is this gonna be the equivalent to the photos? Ooh, not a meth lab. Hey, recreational vandalism, completely optional graffiti 1 in episode 1. So I assume this is gonna be the equivalent to the photos in the first game. That's awesome. I like that a lot. Now we need to somehow make our way into this rave, and this is where we get introduced to a new feature called backtalk, where you essentially have to gaslight the other person into giving Chloe whatever she wants. Obviously this works for us, and I make my way in, and as you can imagine there was an optional graffiti to get, so I went ahead and got that before making our way into this rave. It wasn't that easy though. As we try and push our way through the crowd, I knock this guy's drink and he is not too happy at all, and after giving him the middle finger I need to try and make my way upstairs because the crowd was just too much. And on that mission I see Frank from the first game. Always good to see a familiar face. Anyway, up the stairs I go, and I now get the best view in the house, but in typical Life is Strange fashion, things weren't good for very long. The guy whose drink I spilt, well, he wanted his revenge, and in a real manly fashion he decided to start a fight with a 16-year-old girl. Luckily for us, we had our guardian angel nearby, Rachel Amber. I'm so happy that we finally get to understand Rachel's character even more. However, it does make the story hit 10 times harder knowing her outcome. Even Frank comes in to save the day, and then Rachel and I can finally go enjoy that mosh pit that we came for. After a long night of partying with Rachel, I wake up in my room and do some more graffiti to start my day. And coming downstairs, I had a heartfelt conversation with Chloe's mum, Joyce. There are many of these in the game, and the developers did a really good job of showing how hurt Chloe still is over the death of her father. After playing the first game, a lot of my dialogue options were actually quite nice to the people around us, especially knowing how good David was to us and trying to save Max in the last game. If I hadn't played those games, I probably would have been a complete dick to him, but since I did play those games, I was actually nice to him for once. Speaking of David, I head out as he has taken us to school, and he asked us to go grab some tools from his toolbox, and the game presented us with an opportunity for some more optional graffitis, and that ticks another one off. With a little conversation with David and trying to remain civil, we head to school, and on this car journey Chloe falls asleep and enters a dream. I'm going to cut up my live reaction to this because oh boy did it get me. Damn, she's having a dream about her dad. Oh no. No. Bro. Why did I know that? In my head I knew that was going to happen. Right. Yep, okay. Wipe the smile off my face, just like I thought this game would. Jesus. Wow. I'm barely an hour into playing the game and they're getting me like that. Arriving on campus, I make my way over to do some more graffiti, and in fairness, I think I prefer these over the photos from the first game because we get to choose what art we want to do. Over now to our friend Steph, and she is playing Dungeons and Dragons with Mikey, and this interaction was mainly just to introduce these guys because we'll be seeing a lot more of them later. Leaving them to go make my way into class, I get stopped by Nathan Prescott being bullied. Yeah, the tables have turned clearly. He is getting bullied by this guy called Drew, and we'll see more of him later on. Nonetheless, we start to see Nathan Prescott's villain arc truly forming. Okay, can I now make my way to class? I guess not, because Rachel just grabbed me and pulled her into her drama class. After thanking Rachel for basically saving us last night, she asks us to grab her belt as she is getting changed, and there is another opportunity to do some art. So by doing that, we get another trophy. Now, obviously here, I chose the option to hand the belt to her by hand as, you know, content, and I wanted to see what would happen if these two looking at each other while she was getting changed. I figured since these two were getting close, let's get them even closer. Here's me thinking from the first game that it was Chloe that was the rebellious one. However, it turns out it was Rachel pulling all of the strings, as she pretty much drags us out of school and we basically go skipping school to go on an adventure. Can't really say no to that. We end up on this train, and of course there's more graffiti to do, and once that is done, we sit down with Rachel and start getting even closer to her. This conversation was a typical teenage game, two truths and a lie, which felt really fitting as both Chloe and Rachel were trying to suss each other out. But after that, hopping off the train, we seem to have made it to this gorgeous nature park, and for whatever reason, Rachel brings us to this viewpoint and puts her last quarter in a broken viewfinder. She starts getting really upset, almost overly upset at this, that she couldn't use it, so I had to go on a hunt to try and find either a quarter or break into this one to get the quarter back. Before any of that, obviously, we've got to do some graffiti, so with that being done, now moving on, I can go hunt for something to pry this viewfinder open. I will ignore the fact that it took me like 20 minutes of walking around, but I grabbed this plaque from a bench and then I finally got the quarter back. Rachel and I now did some people watching, and then there was this man and a woman that started making out. Rachel seemed to have a bad reaction to this and switched up on us for almost no reason. She made it sound like all she wanted to do was get wasted, so with Rachel being the diva she is, she faked a heart attack or something, and then I swiped a bottle of wine from these people. We then proceeded to get wasted and make our way to the junkyard from the first game. Spoiler alert from the first game here, but oh my god is it weird being here, especially knowing this is where Rachel gets buried. Chloe at this point had had enough of Rachel's mood swings and calls her out on her bullshit, but this puts Rachel over the edge and she just left. In a typical misunderstood teenager's fashion, Chloe grabbed the nearest bat to her and started smashing things. This gave me the opportunity to do some more graffiti, and then it was back to smashing more things up. But then this happened. Oh fuck, there's no... That might be the same one. Jesus Christ. Seeing the car that he died in. Yeah, after that tragic moment of seeing the car, it triggered another dream. This time, Chloe seems to be more aware that she is in the dream, and right off the bat, there is the final graffiti to take care of, and doing that gives us the last collectible of episode 1. Obviously though, this dream turned into a nightmare very fast. Waking up from her dad's car, we walk over to the park we looked at from the viewpoint earlier, and Rachel was here bawling her eyes out. Rachel finally opens up about what was getting her down. Remember that man and woman that we saw earlier making out? Well, it was Rachel's dad, but it wasn't her mother. He was a cheat, and Rachel hated that. This led to a very heartfelt conversation between the two, and Rachel is now trusting Chloe more and more. It still doesn't end well though, as Rachel lights a photo of her and her dad on fire, but it doesn't end there, as in a rage of anger, she screams and knocks the bin over, basically becoming an arsonist down as the whole forest goes up in flames. Talk about a dramatic end to episode 1. Oh my god. Is that the first episode done? My god, was that an emotional roller coaster. Awake, dear heart. Complete episode 1. Awake. Wow, that was that was really good. What an absolute start to the game. Don't want to start the next one just yet, but wow, that was incredible. Let's move on to the next one. Let's not waste any time here. Let's go. Episode 2 kicks off in the principal's office. Since we did skip school yesterday, it is not gonna go down well. Rachel and her parents are also there. Hardly a good first impression of meeting the parents, but whatever works. Through this discussion, I remembered that in the first game around, Chloe gets expelled, so I took the blame for ditching school yesterday, and this didn't go down well with Joyce, but it was bound to happen eventually. So with now being expelled, it's time to clear out my locker before saying saying goodbye to Blackwell. Stepping into the parking lot, there is the first optional graffiti of episode 2 to get out of the way before grudgingly making my way over to David and Joyce. This conversation, as you can imagine, escalated very fast, and David forced us to empty our pockets as he didn't want us doing drugs anymore. Fortunately for us, there was nothing in my pockets for him to take. After that humiliating experience, I storm off and head to the junkyard, as this is my new safe place, as we know from the previous game. Walking around the junkyard, an absolute treasure catches our eye. That's right, Chloe's truck from the first game. It's great to see the origin story behind this. The game centers on a task to get some items to freshen up this truck, and while on the mission, I vandalize the hood of a car before collecting all of the pieces to this puzzle. Frank gives us a call as he wants to meet. Then, just after this, we get the chance to make the truck truly our own by doing some graffiti and ticking off another trophy. I like that we can choose which one we want to do. Hey, Feels on Wheels. Complete optional graffiti 3. Let's go. Chloe falls asleep in her truck, and I guess she's not sleeping well at home as it triggers another dream. This fortunately didn't have a dramatic ending like the other ones. However, we do see the fire that Rachel started, and it is still going strong and still burning down the forest. Speak of the devil, here she is. Chloe starts to open up about David, and we see that these two are just getting that little bit closer. Another opportunity arises to do more graffiti on the wall in what will become Chloe and Rachel's new hideout. Cannon wall. Oh my god, this is going to be the same as the first game, isn't it? Meeting Frank, he now has a job for us, and we can't wrangle our way out of this one since we do owe him money, so this is sort of our way of paying our debts. Speaking of debts, he tells us to go grab a notebook, and on my way to grab it, I doodle on his reminders, and that's another trophy ticked off the wish list. Right, grabbing that notebook now and going through it, we see that Drew from school owes Frank a lot of money. My mission now is to sneak into Drew's room and take the money that he owes Frank. Arriving on campus after getting expelled, clearly I'm here more after being expelled rather than when I was actually here in the school. I need to somehow get into the dorms. Hey, friendly forest friends. Complete optional graffiti 6.
They're just too hard.
Tread harshly. Let's go. Like Bigfoot in this. Upon entering the dorms, I write some poetry on this guy called Elliot's whiteboard. I'm not going to go into too much detail on who he is. He's just an ass that has a crush on Chloe, but he's also a freak, which you'll see later on. Into Drew's room now, I use my detective skills to grab the code for this case and then get the money right out of it. Then we get stopped in our tracks by Mikey, Drew's brother. Then shortly after, Drew arrives himself. Drew was followed by this guy called Damon, and background on him, he is essentially Frank's boss, so the big dog drug dealer in this town. I let Drew get beaten up since he doesn't have the money owed, and it is also not my problem. Drew didn't pay Damon back in time. How's that my issue? Drew is pretty hurt up after this and gets sent off to hospital, which we will see later on. The day goes by and it is time to head back to campus to find Rachel before she performs in the Tempest. When looking for Rachel, I spot Victoria dropping a pill in Rachel's drink. I assume so Rachel will be too drugged to play her role so Victoria can snatch it off her, but Chloe, being the smart ass she is, she swaps the drink so Victoria is about to go loopy, to say the least. Due to the fire that Rachel started, it meant one of the people in the cast was going to be late and isn't going to make it in time for their role. This meant it now falls onto me, but this opens up the opportunity to get the penultimate graffiti for this episode before we head out onto the main stage. The play now starts, and it was kind of okay to play through. You had to select which lines you wanted to choose, which was easy enough to do. Rachel and Chloe went very off script and ended up talking about each other, and then at the end of the play there was this shot of a woman that we saw earlier in a white dress, and I start to get my suspicions on who it may be. That woman is rather creepy. Chloe and Rachel on their way back to Rachel's house, they gave me a brilliant opportunity to get some free content, so enjoy this. Oh bro, I'm doing this for the content. I'm doing it for the content, I promise. Yo, she's actually about it. Content. Yo. Damn. They're really getting on in public. Free content. Oh my god, she's still going. I don't know if the people watching this right now, are we intruding? I feel like I shouldn't be watching this. She got game, that's for sure. After intruding on that, I make my way into Rachel's house, and the plan is for her to get a bag of clothes so we can run off into the distance together. Immediately getting stopped by Rachel's parents, tension was rising, but I decided to play the nice card and help her parents set up the table, and then doing this allowed us to get our last graffiti of the episode. As you can imagine, dinner was really awkward before Rachel completely snapped at her dad for cheating. Turns out, it was Rachel's mother who he was kissing. I knew it! Should have said something so I could have had my reaction. Yeah, and on that bombshell, that wraps up episode 2. Damn. Well, that's episode 2 done. 2.5 hours. That was a movie. Hey, oh wonder. Complete episode 2. Can't believe we've only got one more to go. That was an awesome episode. I think I preferred the first one, but I feel like it's all building up for this last one. Let's get into this. I'm loving this game. Life is Strange franchise has just been amazing. Let's go. Into the final episode now, and yeah, I'm sad too that it's the last one, but it starts off with Chloe and Rachel experiencing what Rachel's dad is telling them about the story of her mother. To give a long story short, Rachel's mum is a wild card and a heroin addict, so they parted ways, and Sarah, her mum, wasn't able to see Rachel. This really upset Rachel, and she went off into her room, so of course we follow her there, and there were 2 really quick graffitis which we can do. In an attempt to cheer Rachel up, I put on her nightlight with the stars so she could open up and say how she wants to see her mother. I take responsibility of trying to arrange all of that for her. Then we get into another one of Chloe's dreams, and her dad dies once again. Sneaking back into my actual house now, I give Frank a call asking to meet, which goes down well, and then it's time to do some more graffiti, so ticking off the 3rd one of the 3rd episode. Let's go. Joyce asked me to get some things from her bedroom, and I decided to do some artwork on David's calendar before going into the bathroom and finding some hair dye. So this is where the blue hair starts. It's a new look for Chloe. She just dyed her hair blue. I was wondering when that was going to happen, or if that was going to happen. After going downstairs to see Joyce and David, Joyce pulls me to one side as David has something he wants to say to me, and at first I was assuming it was going to be bad, but actually he apologized for making us empty our pockets, which was just humiliating in the moment. I did forgive him, as like I said, in this playthrough I actually wanted to be nice to him after what he did to Max in the first game. We eventually leave this conversation and head to the junkyard to hopefully get that truck started so we can run away with Rachel. Immediately when trying to fix the car, I make a mess with the fuel filter, but this allows me to do some more graffiti. With some elite car knowledge, I actually managed to get this thing started just before Rachel shows up. Looks like everything's going to plan. Even Frank turned up, so we can hopefully find Rachel's mum, but oh dear, Damon is here. He is wanting to know why we are snooping around his business and his clients. As you can imagine, this got heated extremely fast, and Damon pulls a knife out on Rachel. Rachel doesn't hesitate for a second to grab a piece of wood and smack him over the face with it, but by doing this, Rachel gets stabbed pretty bad. In complete shock, I grab Rachel and speed off to the hospital. We get there in good time, and Rachel is rushed off to the nurses. A long cutscene plays now, and we talk to Rachel's dad about what happened, but he tells us that it's going to be okay, thankfully, and the nurses did a good job. Finally free from the cutscene, I go to the vending machine to steal a chocolate bar. This allows us to get our next optional graffiti. However, for me it glitched, so I had to go and get the next one first, which was on this poster, before heading back to the vending machine to doodle on it, both resulting in a trophy. Remember Drew from earlier that got his ass beat by Damon? Well, he is in this hospital too, and after chatting with him, I finally get to sign his cast, giving us yet again another trophy. Going in to see Rachel now, and she isn't looking too good, but after a while of talking, she tells us to go search her dad's office for anything on her mum. As we leave Rachel's room, we see Elliot, you know, that guy that has a crush on Chloe, and to be honest, he just acts like a jealous prick here. He's moaning about how we're spending more time with Rachel over him, and we shut him down quickly because I'm not getting involved in that. We need to go find some information on Rachel's mum. Arriving at Rachel's house now, I search her dad's office and I immediately get one of the optional graffitis out of the way. Now on to finding some real evidence, and then while searching a locked drawer, there is a phone which has been used to contact Damon, the drug dealer. Some weird stuff going on here, but I follow his instructions to destroy some evidence, doing this in all hope to get some information on where Rachel's mum is. I also find some hidden cash, and it's go time. It's time to go confront Damon and then find Sarah. But the jealous prick Elliot shows up. That's right, he followed us from the hospital like a creep, and he starts going all psycho on us to the point where we had to call the cops and tell him we don't want anything to do with him. He was acting out of complete jealousy, which was sad to see as he was being creepy as. With the cops now alerted, he gets scared and runs off, giving us the chance to go to the old mill. Now, making it to the old mill, we can see the story is ending where it all began. Such a nice touch on the game. I get my final optional graffiti here.
Messed up. Complete optional graffiti 10. That was the last one. One more trophy to go. Well, I think 1 or 2 more.
All that is left to do now is finish this incredible story. I peep around the corner and see Sarah tied to a chair with Damon threatening her and about to drug her in hopes of killing her to make it look like an overdose. I step in to bargain with Damon, but he smacks us to the ground and kicks us while we're down. With Chloe on the floor and Sarah drugged, Frank comes in to fight Damon, and assuming he wins this, as we wake up, see Sarah sat on the table looking a little bit better. Sarah and Chloe go on to have a conversation about how Sarah is a drug addict and she shouldn't be with her daughter. Even though Rachel wants it, Sarah agrees that David is protecting her and doing right by Rachel by keeping both of them separate. I promise Sarah that I won't tell Rachel that I found her and spoke to her. This would have broken Chloe to do this to her best friend, but I guess it was the best for her not to know. As we are coming up to the end of the game, I'm going to leave you guys with my raw final thoughts of the game as the remaining trophies pop. If you did make it this far in the video, be sure to hit a like on it as it really does help the channel grow, and smash that subscribe button. This game was honestly incredible and I will definitely see you in the next one.
Hey! All the devils are here. Complete episode 3. Dude, this story has been amazing. Oh, Before the Storm. Complete episode 1, 2, and 3. Are we about to get the platinum? Come on, give it to me. Boom, bring on the storm. Let's go, complete all of the trophies. That story was incredible. Was it as good as the first one? Maybe. That had me on a roller coaster, man. And it's just made like these characters feel so much more real. Like, I like Frank so much more now, whereas in the first game he was just kind of a drug dealer. You know, you got to appreciate David that little bit more because he is trying to be a good father. Speak of the devil. But it's just made all of the relationships really come together. I'm glad that they released this side of the story after. But I just don't know how the gaps are going to happen with Rachel being taken by that teacher, Jefferson, or whatever his name is. But wow, that was an incredible journey. I think it maybe took like 6 hours or so. Enjoyed it. That's definitely 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Amazing game. I can't wait to play the rest of them. One thing I really did like about the game is you just do see how broken Chloe truly is. Whereas in the first game, you don't really see that. She's just a rebellious teenager, but now we really get to understand why. And it's great. And Nathan, his character seems so different, but he seems to be the bullied that turns into a bully. Here are the credits. Let's go. That was an incredible game. If you did enjoy the video, drop a like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to play through all of these games. These are incredible stories. I don't really care if they get views or not, but my god, insane. Oh shit. What is this, a Marvel movie? I'm about to get post credits. Oh my god. We're in a dark room. Bro, talk about filling in the gaps. Wow, that was incredible. That was such a good game. On to bigger and better. We'll see you in the next one. I have no idea what game it's going to be, but let's go.